Hello everyone and welcome to this brand new video. So this is going to be all about how you can make it before 2027 as a creator if you want freedom, right? You need to make it before 2027. This is exactly what this video is about and I'll tell you why. So let's just jump right into things. If you don't know me, my name is Jay. I'm a German-Australian content creator. That was kind of unnecessary, but I'm a content creator, a coach, made six figures online, and I help other coaches and creators build their personal brand, grow their high-ticket business, and ultimately reach 20K a month, have a life full of freedom and purpose. So let's get right into things. So AI is rapidly evolving. I think it's no secret by now that AI is flooding the market with its organic content, and it's only really getting worse. Like, you've probably noticed that you've recently been on your feed and maybe you're not getting as much organic views. Things aren't, doing as well. And it's because the market is being flooded by a lot of AI generated content, and they can be very easily created. So it's kind of hard for you to fight against this kind of big uprise of AI and more AI generated content in general, right? Millions of ASIs, artificial superintelligence, will outperform humans beyond our current comprehension in a few years, and specifically by 2027. And the funny thing is, I watched a Dan Ko video where he kind of talks about this stuff, but I wanted to kind of give my own take on it. There's a website, which I'll just show you in a second, and the website looks like this, right? You can see on the right side here, this is May 2025, okay? And when I scroll down, you can read this, by the way, I'll put this in the description of this video. When you scroll down, you can see there's all of these different kind of metrics changing, right? So you can see bioweapons, robotics, hacking, coding, politics, forecasting. Right now in May 2025, there's 2,000 unreliable agents copies thinking at 8x human speed, which is still pretty great, right? Revenue, all of this kind of stuff, you can probably look into it better than I am. Importance, 1%, diameters, timeline, blah, blah, blah. Science fiction. And as I scroll down, you can see these metrics are changing, right? September 2012, 10x human speed, 5,000 unreliable. And you can see these metrics are kind of changing, right? So the valuation is 413 billion, and then it's 610 billion. So the valuation of AI is going up over time. So let's just keep on scrolling. So now January 2026, 900 billion valuation. In coding, it's going up, right? A lot of people are using it in coding. Let's keep scrolling. Okay, May 2026, they did a big jump, 1 trillion, 22,000 reliable agents thinking at 13x human speed. By September 26, 50,000, $2 trillion valuation. And if you just keep on going, you can see it's just rapidly, here, there's even like a little timeline here. It's rapidly expanding, right? March 2027, it's just getting smarter. It's been used in pretty much every industry. It's just importance, 7%. So here it marks what fraction of the US population considers AI their answer to the question, what do you think is the most important place in the country today? Current importance, 7% globally. Okay, valuation 5 trillion. Importance 10%. Here, look, by August 2027, 270,000 superhuman coder copies thinking at 30x of human speed. 13%. I'll just scroll all the way to the bottom here. So by the bottom, by October 2027, 20% of people are going to basically be running their lives through AI. I'm guessing that's what that means. 330,000 people are thinking 57 times the human speed. And then basically AI is going to be taking over every single industry. Hacking, bioweapons, coding, robotics, politics. As you could see, robotics took quite a while, right? So I think running robots with AI is kind of the slowest industry because it's probably the most complex. But like, think about it, in a few years, having like robots do your dishes, like that's just the most nerdy way to think about it. But the same is happening right now with content creation and the current new age economy. So super important stuff. Let's get back to this. So This is why you need to make it before 2027 as a creator, because there's going to be this massive gap of people that are, making impact now and building that initial kind of, I guess, what's the right word, right? They got a head start. And by the time October 27 happens, it's like you're going to have to compete with all of this AI generated content. It's going to be extremely hard. So let's get right into this. So it means that storytelling, belief shifting, which I talk about in my content, reality shifting content, becomes even more important. If you're new here, basically belief shifting content, reality shifting content doesn't just focus on information and just how-to content that ChatGPT can spit out, but it gives a unique perspective, your unique perspective based on your story, your values, beliefs that can change people's perspective. Learning that skill now is going to be especially effective when there's all this AI generated content that all looks the same. Information is futile, right? Education content is futile. Changing perspectives through your unique lens in the world is what matters. And that's the only real thing that makes us human. And I'll be honest, I was kind of holding off of making a bunch of this content about AI and all this stuff because I was like, I don't want to really fall into that bandwagon, but it comes to the point now where you can't ignore it. Everyone is being affected by it. It's affecting businesses in real time. And my goal with this video isn't to scare you or tell you you got no time. My goal is to motivate you and tell you that you have to start now, that you have to start shifting beliefs now, and you have to create a unique pocket in the internet that stands out. Like I said, there's going to be a separation of creators that make it now, and there's going to be ones that, kind of fail to miss this pocket, and after 2027, they're going to kind of be overrun by AI and a bunch of that content. And it's going to be harder, right? Simply due to the increase in AI generated content. So how can you really get around this? What are the 3 main components that I'm doing that you should also be focusing on if you want to be as powerful as possible as a creator and also stand out in the new age economy? Okay, let's get into the first one. Artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence is letting people create, automate, delegate more than ever before. Power is shifting away from like traditional middlemen. I'll give you an example. Justin Bieber just released a new album called Swag. He just threw it up on his story. Just on his Instagram story, he's like, fuck it, threw it up on his Instagram story. Didn't really do any marketing, didn't have like any PR, didn't hop on a bunch of, talk shows a week before the release. He just threw it up on a story and the marketing did itself. People and personal brands are becoming more powerful. And they're cutting out the middlemen. They're cutting out the record labels. They're cutting out the publishing labels for authors. All of these things are being cut out because the power is more set on the individual. And individuals are doing this without whole teams, without much less effort. And this is because of leverage, and they're built on social media and also further leverage with artificial intelligence. So obviously I'm leveraging this for the future. Obviously I'm going to take advantage of this, but I'm not going to take advantage of this like you may think. And I'll get into that in a second. The second thing I'm doing is I'm building a second brain. So I'm using tools like Notion and Cortex to build a second brain around my knowledge as a human being. Because what happens as creators is if we don't store our stories, our metaphors, the things that we can make ourselves different with, we tend to forget it and we tend to just look at ChatGPT, right? And for example, you guys are probably watching this, you're like, oh, I don't have any ideas for content to create or to make an offer or to grow my personal brand. You search it on ChatGPT, it comes up with a solution, you leverage that. Don't get me wrong, you can do that and you should do that. But imagine there's 2 different people, right? Let's just do a little like midway brainstorm, right? There's 2 different people. There's one person A who's got a second brain. I'm going to just do something like that. That's a brain, right? A second brain that feeds the ideas constantly, that allows him to make, him or her to make amazing ideas and spit this out very fast. And then there's person B, right, that doesn't have this asset and constantly just looks for GPTs and uses that as the feeder and doesn't really stand out and just looks like everyone else and doesn't have unique interests or unique perspectives because it's just a robot that's feeding your brain, rather than the stories and unique perspectives and experiences that you gather and write down that you think are interesting. It's a two-way street, right? You can also take this second brain that you have and use that to feed AI to then come up with new ideas. But it's better as a foundational level, as a ground base, than just doing it directly from a GPT. Because you want to have that unique difference, that perspective that not everyone has. So that's kind of my perspective when it comes to that. Oh, bless me. Cool, so we got second brain. Like I said, use Notion, use Cortex, that's pretty cool. Audience. Obviously, I'm building my audience, right? I'm building my audience by giving myself leverage through my intellectual property, my values, my systems, and my vision. If you don't know what a vision is, you have to build it. It's your goals, it's your goal system, right? Your goal tracking system. If you DM me the word vision on Instagram, so just go to my Instagram right now, DM me the word vision, and I will send you this landing page to put in your email and so on and so forth. And you can get my vision system that will show you exactly how to track your vision, how to systemize your vision, and revise it for just 10 minutes a day. So DM me a vision on Instagram and you'll get that. It's in the description. And yeah, so we've got these three things. So we've got artificial intelligence, we've got our second brain, and we've got our audience that we're building. So all of these core systems are there to serve one purpose. We're trying to shift beliefs. We're trying to grow an audience and get closer to our vision. That's ultimately what we're trying to do. And every single member of Creatr.One, which is my consulting company, has a crystal clear vision and framework to get closer to their goals. And I'm extremely proud of that, because a lot of these coaching gurus and these, personal brand gurus out there, they talk about all the systems and the hacks, but at the end of the day, like, what the hell are you trying to do with your life? You're trying to get some clarity. You're trying to build a vision around your life, which is what I think is the most important thing. So I know I wanted to tell you a little bit how I'm thinking about artificial intelligence. So I wanted to make a little note about taking action, because that's the most important thing, right? The hardest thing nowadays. We live in a time, luckily, where you can survive and grow your personal brand and live a completely fine life without knowing a single thing about AI. You can still grow your creator business. You can still do whatever you want. And for the most people, that's what I recommend. I actually recommend not engaging with it whatsoever, which is a completely opposite opinion from what everyone is telling you. And the reason is because sometimes these shortcuts that ChatGPT can create for yourself doesn't allow you to actually learn and think for yourself. In a world where you can just spit something into a computer and you immediately get a solution, you forget to actually think and problem solve on your own. Luckily, I grew up at a time where we didn't have this, but the newer generation, they just don't know how to critically think. They don't know how to, wrap their head around situations. Now, that's obviously this statement has nuance to it, because in the next few years that will change. If you don't learn these critical, thinking patterns right now and how you can problem solve without AI, in the next few years, you're not going to have that privilege anymore of learning that skill, because you're just not going to have time. You will have to leverage AI simply to compete in the market, and it'll be necessary for survival. So what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that you should 100% leverage AI, but do it in a step-by-step framework. Don't just, try to start a brand or try to learn things and just implement an AI system to take notes and summarize things and all that stuff. You don't need that. You just need to implement, whether that's in your business, your personal life, your relationships, whatever. Implement it in a step-by-step fashion for you to understand the thinking and the knowledge that comes through it. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully make more sense now. In the future, there's going to be have-nots and there's going to be have-yachts, right? You've probably heard that term before. The have-nots are going to be the people that are going to get very emotional and try to criticize those who use AI, and especially in the creative field, right? Like artists, writers, content creators. Those are the people that are most likely going to be criticized if they use AI in their work. Don't listen to them, and don't become one of them. Staying negative will only make you see more negativity. If you see people that are leveraging AI in a smart way, they understand what AI is there for and what it isn't. It's not something that's going to replace your brain, but it's going to act as a tool for you to further generate creative thoughts. It's gonna give you better focus, right? And what you focus on shapes you. So if you spend your time trying to fight, AI is going to take over the world, like only losers use AI, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to end up being crushed by AI, and people smarter than you are going to leverage it. And that's about caveats, okay? People aren't called artists because of the tools they use, but because of how and why we use them. That's why I mentioned here, hopefully you guys get the nuance in this. Don't use AI to start with, understand things, learn things, and then start leveraging AI in a way that you know that the intention is pure and you're doing it in a way that aligns with your beliefs and your values and the things you want to share with the world with your creator business, okay? So what matters is the final result, the story, the emotion, the vision, the soul, okay? Not how long it took, right? So people don't care if something took 5 minutes or 5 hours. As long as the final product is pure and you've done it with the right foundations, that's what matters. You can spend 10 years or 10 seconds writing a book and still be an author, but it doesn't mean the book is good, okay? So leverage AI. A new art, right? Using AI is like anything else, right? You have to learn it. You have to know the intricacies behind it. That's why I'm a big fan of starting things without it and then leveraging it piece by piece. Because people, do the generic shit like, write this script for me or generate this image for me. It doesn't work like that. You need to have a bigger piece of context that can generate the right outcomes for you. We can all agree that letting AI do all the thinking for you, this is why I say, generate a bit of self-awareness, a bit of your own perspectives before using it, won't get you really far, right? People who focus only on that don't really know how to leverage it. So they don't realize that it's a new programming language, right? You can guide it with detailed instructions, give it context, and have full control over the results. This ultimately can allow yourself to produce more with less, and the faster you can get from idea to execution, the more powerful you become as an artist, creator, coach, okay? So, prompt ideas to create more reality shifts. I want to give you guys a little bit of practical things you can walk away with this video to use your brain and make it fit for your own circumstance around the content that you want to create, but do it in a way where you create perception shifts for your for your audience. So this is emails, YouTube ideas, story posts, reels, a bunch of things, okay? So you guys can screenshot this, but whenever you're coming up with a point, you can have these prompts as a way for you to think outside the box, to have a contrarian or a different belief that can make you stand out as a creator, right? So what is the exact opposite of this idea? What is the unpopular truth? What is the widely accepted belief? What is the downsides? What is the flawed assumptions? How would a child interpret this? How would this look if, what is actually a distraction from the real issue? What if there was no emotional attachment to this argument? All of these things allows yourself to be like, oh, wait, I didn't think of it like that. And that's what we're trying to do with our audience, because we want them to get attached to our morals, our beliefs, and our way of doing things, okay? To-dos. Build your own philosophy through your unique belief-shifting ideas and become an AI orchestrator learning step by step. That's the whole goal of this video. I hope you got value out of this. I hope you expanded your mind with this. If you want to join Creatr.One, the best consulting program in the world for creators, coaches, and personal brands, DM me the word one on Instagram. You can, chat with me for 15 minutes completely for free, and I'll give you a free gift on top of that. And other than that, guys, love for you guys to subscribe, comment if you have any questions or any ideas for future videos, and yeah, build your reality. I will see you guys in the next video.